Look into my eyes. First Aid Friday. Today, we're looking at head injuries. Our eyes can tell us quite a lot if somebody's had a head injury. So let's have a look a little bit closer. So, head injuries. I'm sure you've all bumped your head off a car door or a kitchen cupboard. And yeah, it hurts. It's not nice. It's not pleasant. But most of the time, it's not going to be serious. So let's have a look at concussion. So what is concussion? So if you think you have your brain, mine's probably not as big as that, and then you have a clear fluid that protects the brain called cerebral fluid. And then you have your skull on top, which is the protector. So concussion is when the brain shakes, And what can cause concussion? Quite a lot of things. Falling off your bike, maybe running, trip over, smack your head, maybe you don't see that tree and you walk into it. Boxing, football, rugby, anything heads colliding with something, but not just a collision. Also, whiplash. Think, driving along in your car, seatbelts on, smack on the brakes, seatbelt goes on, it does its job, but your head can throw forward. And that action can also cause concussion. So what is cerebral compression then? This is very serious. So let's go back to the brain, the fluid, and the skull on top. Cerebral compression is when it's had a real high impact. Now, unfortunately, the signs of cerebral compression could take quite a while to develop. It could be instant, it could take a few days. Cerebral compression is when there's a bleed on the brain or a build-up of pressure. So if you can imagine, this is the brain, you've got the fluid, you've got your skull on top, and it could take that pressure to build and build and build and build and build. And that's why it can take quite a while to show any signs or symptoms. Let's skip back to the beginning and let's look at concussion. So for a normal head bump, it's sore, it's not very nice. You might feel a bit dizzy, you might feel a bit woozy. Then all you need to do is get an instant ice pack, if you've got one in your first aid container, squeeze it and pop it onto your head. That reduces the inflammation, which of course then reduces the pain. Job done. No further action required. But let's see if they start showing certain signs. So if yourself or a colleague, friend or family has history of a head injury or a brain shake, then we need to make sure we watch out for the following. So let's look at those eyes again. So looking into their eyes, are the pupils the same size? Is one really small? Is one dilated? Or maybe they can't see. Maybe you say, how many fingers am I holding up? And they say, 4. That's when we have a problem. If a person has been knocked unresponsive, if somebody starts to vomit, if somebody's level of response starts to deteriorate. Now, I know what I'm like on a Friday afternoon. I'm always deteriorated. I was like, what? What day is it? Really? But what I mean is a change in the way that they normally are. Maybe they're sort of like in and out. Like, what was that? This is not good. We would strongly advise to ensure that you get medical attention. Get it checked out to be on the safe side. Let's have a look at cerebral compression. So what might you see? You might see all of the same. They might be acting really sort of, They look as if they've had 10 pints of lager on a Friday afternoon. Sort of like the balance has gone. They could have slurred speech. Again, their eyes could be telling you quite a lot. Small pupil, big pupil, double vision. But also, make sure that you call 999 straight away if you ever see any fluid coming from their ears or their nose. What is this fluid? It is cerebral fluid. It could be straw colour. It could be pinkish, it could be red. Any fluid coming from the ears or the nose after history of a head injury, you must call 999. It's the build-up of pressure, building up, and something's got to give. It could also showing signs of, if you think this is your skull, very strong bone, that there could be a fracture in the skull and the fluid is seeping out. Regardless, you must call 999. We strongly advise as well that if anybody has had history of a blow to the head, whiplash, concussion, then you must be observed for a period of time. Now, that doesn't mean that you go in waking the person up every hour, go, wake up, wakey, oh yeah, you're fine, go back to sleep. It just means be observant, keep an eye on them as the day goes on in your workplace, okay? And also pass on the information to them. Tell them, look, if your vision goes, if you start acting as if you've had 10 pints of lager on a Friday afternoon, if you're seeing two heads on a person, please make sure that you advise them to get medical help straight away. And don't forget, if they start to vomit. So a head injury then, what if they've actually got a bit of blood on their head after bumping it? Then we want to stop the blood from pouring out, same as any bleed. So I'm going to get this bandage. Now, it's not easy bandaging yourself, I have to say. I can't even get it open today. It's Friday. Oh, that's what it is. So here's your bandage. Now, a lot of bandages inside first aid kits come with this long bit. That's for tying things off. And it comes with the paddy bit. This is the bit that you would put onto the injury because common sense says so. Now, what you don't want to do is put the pad on like that for a few reasons. One, because the blood will drip down into their eye. And two, maybe you're restricting their vision. So what do we do instead? It's simple. Fold it over, then put it onto the injury, and then you can put it around their head like so. A little tip for you, if you can see, just go slightly underneath that pad so it keeps it in place. It's nice and secure and it stops the blood from going down into their eyes. And when you get to the end, it's up to you. Tie it off in a knot, tie it off in a bow. It depends what the request is. But today, because it's Friday, why not? Let's put it into a bow and we're going to tie it off, she says. Ta-da! Like that. So head injuries. I am also going to put a link in to a bit more information about head injuries and what to be mindful of and the signs and symptoms. But be careful out there. It is really slippy at the moment. And if you fall over and hit your head, just be careful. Yeah, just be mindful of those signs. All right. So from me, from my house, where I'm safe today, and keep safe. And don't forget, first aid, it can save lives. And I'm Sarah, owner and trainer of First Aid at Work Aberdeen, Aberdeenshire, in partnership with Mini First Aid. And hope you don't bump your head. Keep safe. Bye.